Dartmoor is a unique landscape. Its diverse habitats are home to a surprising array of wildlife. To help ensure that this wildlife heritage is protected, in 2001 the 10-year Dartmoor Biodiversity Action Plan was produced. The plan was called Action for Wildlife, and as examples of the work done, we'll be visiting two projects. The first is a Dartmoor National Park Authority management agreement for an area of wet grazing land known as Rose Pasture, where southern damselfly are thriving. After that, we'll see some of the benefits that have come from the Two Moors Threatened Butterfly project.
The site we're at came into a management agreement with the National Park Authority 17 years ago now, when we'd just done a whole lot of survey work for roast pastures throughout the national park. Having signed the management agreement with the landowner here, we did actually find within the first year southern damselflies, a particularly rare species that was unknown on Dartmoor previously until that point. And since then we've been managing the site in conjunction with the farmer here to try and get it as a good roast pasture, but also in particular to increase the population of southern damselflies here. The key to that management has really been to get Dartmoor ponies in, because the previous grazing wasn't sufficient really to open up the runnels like those that are in front of us here. And the key in these runnels really is to have these open graze runnels with marsh St John's wort that you can see here, and also moorland pondweed, and these are the two key plant species that the southern damselflies lay their eggs on. During the first 3 years that we found the species here and monitored it, the numbers were less than 10 in terms of the peak count at any day within the summer. And in the last 3 years, after all the management work that we've done, the numbers have been somewhere between 150 and 200 on the peak counts. So a huge increase in numbers, and it has been very successful. The other sort of work we've done has been bringing volunteers and rangers and other people in to do scrub management work here. We've done a certain amount of swaling from time to time to go alongside the grazing that the ponies have been doing, and it has been very successful over that period in order to get both the plants and animals that are here to thrive to a much greater extent than they were doing previously.
Hello, my name's Jenny Plackett. I'm the project officer for the Two Moors Threatened Butterfly project. And this is a project that was set up in 2005 by a partnership of Dartmoor National Park, Exmoor National Park Authority, Natural England, the Environment Agency and Butterfly Conservation. And the aim of the project is to reverse the declines of our fritillary butterflies across Dartmoor and Exmoor. Working to deliver the elements of the Dartmoor Biodiversity Action Plan, which weren't being achieved through other means. So I work very closely with farmers and landowners to encourage them to do appropriate management to improve the habitat on their land for fritillary butterflies, but also for other wildlife and for the habitats themselves. So I offer habitat management advice, and also help with securing funding to pay for the management that's required on their land. And much of the funding is available through their agri-environmental agreements with Natural England, mainly the higher level stewardship agreements. And this gives them access to capital works funding, which will enable them to pay for fencing so that grazing can take place on their land, or to pay for scrub control and the like to improve the quality of their habitat. On those sites where funding isn't available, then I try to work closely with volunteer groups to ensure that the management does still happen. And we're here today with volunteers to do some management to improve the quality of the breeding habitat for marsh fritillary by transplanting Devil's-Spit scabious plants from a nearby sort of source site into the main breeding area. So over the last 4 or 5 years, Dartmoor ponies have been grazing here during the summer months, and that's helped to create a varied height and diverse structure in the grass and sward, which creates pockets of sheltered and warm habitat to support the butterfly through all its life stages. And the grazing also helps to keep the millennia from becoming too dominant and prevent the scrub encroachment from getting out of hand. Since the project began, over 160 sites have been visited, and habitat management advice has been offered on over 1,800 hectares of habitat. And as a result of that, management has been carried out on more than 1,350 hectares of habitat, and that's included the erection of more than 16 kilometres of fencing to enable grazing to take place. The other species which is the focus of conservation effort within the project is the high brown fritillary. And this butterfly is the UK's most rapidly declining butterfly at the moment. But conservation management efforts here on Dartmoor, in the Dart Valley and in the Walcombe Valley, have really helped to reverse these declines, and the butterfly here has now stabilised.
Action for Wildlife, the Dartmoor Biodiversity Action Plan, has achieved or exceeded 64% of all the targets set back in 2001. A further 25% have also seen some progress. But what about the future? The Dartmoor Biodiversity Steering Group will develop a strategy called Living Dartmoor. This will coordinate wildlife actions over the next 10 years. It will build on the success of the last 10 years, continuing to involve conservation bodies, landowners, farmers and local communities in helping to safeguard Dartmoor's very special habitats and wildlife.